All right, hi everybody. Today we're going to be finishing up what we started yesterday and looking at solving two-step equations using the multiplication property of equality. So you can see here at example number 1, we have an equation that is going to involve two steps. We see m divided by 2 plus 2 is equal to 13. Remember that the very first thing that we want to do is to try to isolate that variable. Before we can isolate the variable, we have to remember that we first need to isolate the term that involves the variable. So what I'm looking to isolate is this m over 2. So to get that m over 2 by itself, I need to think about removing 2 from both sides of the equation. So we're going to start by subtracting 2 from the left-hand side of the equation, subtracting 2 from the right-hand side of the equation. Remember that whatever we do to one side of the equation, we have to do to the other. And also remember that we always want to be looking for zero pairs, so we know that that cancels out. Once we are finished with that first step, we're going to continue by simplifying the problem to what's left over in the equation. So I'm still left with the term with the variable m divided by 2 is equal to, and now I'm going to simplify 13 minus 2, as you see here, 13 minus 2 is 11. Now I'm left with a one-step equation left to solve. M divided by 2, I'm going to use the multiplication property of equality to isolate the variable and get that variable by itself. When I multiply by the reciprocal of 1/2, my 2's cancel out, and I'm left with m is equal to 22. Now, you know me, and you know that we're going to need to check our work. So here's what our check looks like. Remember that for the check, we're going to simply substitute our value of the variable back into the original equation. Here's what I've got. 22 over 2 plus 2 is equal to 13. I'm right back in our original equation. Now I'm going to use my order of operations and what I know about simplifying. 22 divided by 2 is 11 plus 2 equals 13. True, everyone, that 11 plus 2 is 13? We know it is. 13 equals 13. So our steps, just to review, were to first isolate the term that contains the variable, and then we're going to use our properties, starting either with addition or subtraction property to solve. And then we're going to finish the problem in this situation with the multiplication property of equality. And that's to completely isolate the variable. Let's try another example. 6 plus n divided by 5 is equal to 24. My first step is to get this term, n divided by 5, all by itself. So I'm going to do that by subtracting 6 from both sides of the equation. Notice that I'm looking for a pair of opposites. Positive 6, negative 6 cancel out. I'm left with n over 5 is equal to 18. Now I have one step left to solve. I'm going to multiply both sides of the equation by 5, the reciprocal of 1/5 as we know. And my 5's cancel out, and I am left with n is equal to 90. Next step involves checking to make sure that my scale is back in balance. 6 plus 90 over 5, 90 divided by 5, is equal to 24. 6 plus 18 equals 24. True. 24 on the left, 24 on the right. Cha-ching. It checks. Next. Now we've got a situation where our term is a negative. It shouldn't change anything for us. Remember, our goal as always is to isolate the variable. Isolate the term first, then isolate the variable. So here's what I've got. Negative c over 4 plus 7 equals 14. I need to get rid of this plus 7. How will I do that? We're going to subtract 7 from both sides. Subtract 7 from both sides. I'm left with negative c over 4, these cancel out, is equal to 7. Now remember that our goal here is to get the variable all by itself. So this negative sign, I'm looking for the reciprocal of negative 1/4. The reciprocal of any negative number is still a negative number. So I'm going to multiply both sides of the equation by negative 4. And I'm left with C equals negative 28. Let's check it to make sure. Here's what I've got. Negative 28 over negative 4 plus 7 equals 14. Negative divided by a negative gives me a positive. Positive 7 plus 7 equals 14. True. 14 equals 14. And it checks. Last problem, we'll go through it together. 12 plus x divided by 3 equals 21. My goal is to get that x over 3 by itself. So I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. I'm going to subtract 12 from the other side. And I'm left with x over 3 is equal to 9. Multiply both sides by 3, the reciprocal. X is equal to 27. Let's check it. 12 plus 27 over 3 is equal to 21. 12 plus 9 equals 21. True. 21 on the left, 21 on the right. And it checks. All right, that is how we solve two-step equations using the multiplication property of equality. Important things to keep in mind. Bear with me. Important things to keep in mind here. When we solve two-step equations, the first step is always going to be to isolate the term that contains the variable. So we want to get the term with the variable. That means that we may, like yesterday, want to get a 3m by itself, or we may want to get an x over 6 by itself. We're looking at the term that contains the variable. Okay? We're going to do that by using either the addition property of equality or the subtraction property of equality, depending on what's going to give us opposites. So we want to make sure that we're looking for zero pairs, otherwise known as opposites. Our second step is to get the variable completely by itself. So we're going to isolate the variable. We're going to do that either by multiplying, using the multiplication property of equality, or by using the division property of equality. And that, my friends, is it for today. Thank you.